Hey everyone, we are back. It's going to be an amazing year 2021 on the Trailblazers with Tamara McKayle. And this week we start things off with Trailblazers in Review as we share with you the top tips and the top strategies for success from our Trailblazers of 2020. So as you plan your year ahead and you strategize, this is an episode you cannot afford to miss.
The process is not instant and no rush. I made my move into entrepreneurship at 40. You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of you want to jump into entrepreneurship right away. Sometimes you have to build the competence, and the competence is not just about academic competence, it's called job experience. Or the thing that I want you to take away from viewing this is capital and competence. Now, in building wealth, you need capital and competence.
So any parting advice, any parting encouragement to those who are looking on, who want to become successful in whatever industries or careers that they're in, and they look up to you as that, that big wig that's doing it. What's your word to them?
Well, I have to go back to the hard work is going to help a lot. Commitment. And commitment is painful at times. Commitment is painful when others around you seem to be having a really good time, and here you are at work. Understand the business that you are working in, whether you own it, where you really need to understand it, or you're working in it. Understand what it does. Understand its demand.
I would say to fight for your dreams, fight for your purpose, fight for what God wants you to do. We all came here for one specific reason, and when we're done doing that, God will take us back home. But until then, fight, and do what God sent you to do.
Awesome. Do what God sent you to do.
I think you have to have people and content in your life that inspires you, that inspires you, that instructs you, and that you aspire to be, right? So that you get instruction, you get inspiration, and then you also aspire to be. So that's someone who you want to be. If you have those type of people in your life, you'll win.
Paul, so tell us.
All right. For those of us who are trying to find the success, so we have it in our mind, but we're trying to manifest it in the reality, you have to put some clothes on your ambition. And that clothes is like an art for make, and it's like an artistic, and at some point you might even outgrow it, right? But you have to start by clothing that ambition in discipline. You have to be disciplined. This world will make you think that things won't happen overnight. Like as you have the idea and you share it, bam, an investor come, a sponsor come, and you're just off to Dubai on a private jet. Don't let that image fool you though. The ambition you have requires discipline. The discipline to think through it properly and get clear. Is this what I really and truly want? The discipline to strategize, that stealth mode, don't waste the action, don't waste the time. So when I take step 1 and step 2, these are both steps that are meaningful and critical. It's not a waste time movement here, or the trendy movements that everybody's making. This is deliberate action. And I'm going to take step 1 and step 2 with a sense of deliberation. I thought about it and I'm being purposeful about it. And then you also have to give yourself some flexibility and some room to outgrow, and some room to also slim down and find a way to navigate the difficulties. But be prepared to be flexible. The dream can be big and pretty, and you work out the clarity in the beginning, and as you're walking down the road you realize but we never planned for the rain, and here is the rain. I never planned for drought, but no rain now fall. How will I be flexible, right? Because this dream is big and I want this dream. So am I going to stay committed to this plan, realizing that this plan not appropriate anymore? COVID-19 is the best example of how we need to be flexible and just try and get around the challenges. And then reflect. Take some time to look and see if this is still what I want. If it is happening the way I envision. If I'm having the right attitude, if I'm turning into a human being that I can be proud of. If I'm having the right associates and friends on this journey, am I comfortable? Am I happy? Have I outgrown this desire? Depending on the answer to that, you get right back to the clarity. Let's get clear. Let's decide the approach. Let's be flexible in the approach. And then let's assess, how is this working for me? Do I like it? Do I love it? Is it valuable? Is it purposeful? Does it have meaning? And you just continue that cycle into the day. Don't stop. Don't stop. No matter what the dream is, you can plug the dream into a cycle like that and stay motivated.
Tell us maybe 1 or 2 or even 3 rules for success that you can leave with our viewers.
So the first one, in my humble opinion, is become very comfortable with yourself. So it's get to know yourself and become truly self-aware. You know, self-aware is such a big piece. Once you get that self-awareness and self-confidence, then you can handle pretty much anything. So that's the first thing. Number 2, really develop and hone that skill of coachability. It literally means that people could tell you whatever, both on the good, you know, the positive feedback, because as women, we're not so good at taking positive feedback. If someone says, Mary, you did a great job, I'd be like, okay, thanks, let's move on. No, you should be like, really? Thank you so much. So accept the positive feedback, but on the constructive feedback, ask the questions, but ask for the examples, ask for what could have been better in a nice way so people are not afraid to tell you, right? So that whole coachability is also about how do you get information in about yourself. And as you move up the ladder, you'll be surprised, people don't want to tell you. So you have to really develop that skill of when they tell you, they see action, right? So that's the second piece. And then the third thing I would say, and it's to your point, half the battle, especially as you continue up the ladder, if you will, in your particular journey, is that half the battle is competence, just technical ability. The other half is the ability to relate to people and connect to people.
So
and
it's really important that if you want to do something, you have to put it out there. You have to ignore the naysayers, because the universe will come to your aid. Some people will not be able to help you, but they may spread the word, and then that person is able to help you. And by the way, I mean, all of this requires you to pay it forward when you have a chance, but you have to dream big. You have to put things out there. You have to take. We're very afraid of failure as a culture, and I believe that you either win or you learn. The only failure is if you don't learn, if it doesn't work out. So,
you know, a big one for me is integrity. And always be honest with people, because that's all you have. That's all you have. If you don't have integrity, you don't have anything else. A lot of people have researched me looking for stuff. I'm just sure of it. Even in the investment space, or in commercial banking, you have to be able to be honest with people and say, this is how it will go, right? So that you don't, in other words, it's not a gimmick. It's never ever about a gimmick. It's about being honest and telling people, this is the way, this is the best way. If we're putting you in a product, you have the ups and the down. You have to explain everything to them, not just explain the good part that you're gonna be able to double your money, etc. You have to explain that you can lose your funds. So that is one of the things that I'll say for any woman, for anybody. Your integrity has to always be at the same level, right? And your honesty has to be at the same level. But just being positive, you hear me refer to that all the time. If you're not in a positive space, then you will get negative stuff happening around you, right? And the teamwork is very important. You know, the saying in Jamaica, one hand can't clap. I could not have accomplished half or even a quarter of what I have accomplished without the teams around me. And
one is to literally address it, to literally look it right in his face. This is the issue. I'm experiencing pain because of what happened, but I can't live in pain because I'm going to make a decision to overcome what has happened. Yes. Then you also have to decipher between what is distracting me from my destiny. Based upon the pain of what I've experienced, I can't allow that to stymie and stop me and stifle me from getting to the next level. Thirdly, I've got to recognize that the love that is in me
is greater than the hurt that I've experienced. I've got to love myself through what I've gone through. And the way that you begin to love yourself is you begin to forgive yourself. You forgive yourself for allowing people to mistreat you because you devalued yourself. And that love now raises the level of your value. A lot of times we always say, well, value, knowing your value is only for women. No, knowing your value is also for us as brothers, as men too. We've got to know our value. We got to know our worth. We'll treat people based upon how we even have a relationship with ourselves. Me mistreating you, you mistreating somebody else is indicative of the fact of how you have seen your own life, in many cases, how you castigate it. So making a distinction between a distraction, your destiny, loving yourself, but also looking at the ugly situation, taking off the mask to heal. And so I think you got to be resilient. You got to be consistent. You got to challenge yourself to be creative in a cave, creative in a crisis, and know that you've got peace, you've got protection, and you've got provision. Don't hit the panic button. You've got power, and it's now time to tap into
purpose. And I think that anyone looking to find their purpose, ask, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be opened unto you. Ask and listen genuinely for the answer.
Yes, some profound words of advice there, Gold. I mean,
I hope so.
and seek. Yeah, that is so crucial. What are some key tips, some key disciplines that we need to embody?
I would say that you just have to work at it and be committed to what you want to do. The persons who manage to win, whether they be in sports, whether they be in business, or whether they be in politics, or the person who will stay later than others, who will come earlier than others, who will do that little extra bit of work, and who will not say no and do not find themselves too big for any position. I think one of the hallmarks and one of the reasons why I think that I was elected as leader of my party is because people saw the work of which I did and knew that at any level of the party that I was not afraid to get my hands dirty. I was not afraid to do the menial jobs. No job was too small, just to make sure that you work to get the team across the line. So I think that's the best bit of advice of which I can give. Don't be too proud to do anything. And you have to respect persons at all levels. So the organization doesn't work if the person at the very bottom isn't doing what they're doing, just as much as it doesn't work if the person at the very top does. Everyone is an integral part of the team, and you just have to make sure that you remember that as a leader and play whatever part needs to be played at that time.
Definitely.
Really, personally, I would say you got to pay it back, right? So while you think about yourself, help everybody at the same time.
And how do you do that, by the way?
I think I mentor people. I do, you have to return calls if somebody, randomly calls you. You might get a random email, you might get a random DM that says, hey, they'd love some help. So I think you try and pay it back, to the extent that, and I've had to learn this also, is to the extent that you can afford, to the extent that you can put yourself out there.
Yes.
So, you want to go the extra mile, but so pay it back as you can afford. I think also, learn to be able to say no. It sounds cheesy, but you do need to manage your life where you can also say no. I think no matter how much you want to grow, there is a habit when you're younger, you say yes to everything. You want to grow very fast, but you have to understand when to say no.
Who are the friends who have been there with you? Who are the family members who have been there with you? What things really matter when a lot of this kind of like external stuff is taken away? So it's a time to reflect, and it's not going to be easy. It's so exhausting and scary to have all of that fall away from you. But I guess in all of these things, you kind of have to see the opportunity, because it's the only way that you're going to get through. And the only way that I got through, my times in Greece was small wins. Like for me, it was being able to get up and walk by myself a few steps, or, be able to get out of the hospital. But it's just little tiny things. And you have to celebrate those wins. And it's the same thing when I work with fitness clients. In order to not get discouraged, let's celebrate those 2 extra push-ups that you did. Let's celebrate like the fact that you did a slightly longer workout, even if it's just 5 minutes. So, we have to sort of find celebration in what we have, because I think a lot of what people are feeling is that they don't have those kind of external rewards anymore. They can't go out, they can't see their friends, but what can make you happy in the situation that you've got, and how can you really amplify that?
It is so important because it's not just about overcoming obstacles, it's about growth, right? You know, we never stop learning. So you may not be in school right now, you know, getting a formal education, but there's so much to learn still. There's just so much growth that each and every one of us still have to do, and so you have to keep on pushing, try to learn to figure a way to improve the skills that you have or learn new skills. I mean, the world is changing around us, and if you know, keep holding on to the way you have always done things and with the knowledge that you have always had, then you won't be able to participate effectively in this new world. The skills and the knowledge and the experience, the expertise that you have now have brought you to this point. That's as far as it's going to take you.
Indeed.
For you to be able to move on effectively, yeah, you have to keep on
accomplished it. For those who are looking on, they may not reach where they want to yet, but they're on that journey. What, you know, last comments would you want to share with them?
Keep at it. Be sincere, be passionate, make sure that you like what you're doing, and prove that you're better than anyone else. If you prove you're better than anyone else and will work harder than anyone else, it will pay big time, long time. You can do anything you want to do.
How critical is it for our viewers and just everyone in general to know what their purpose is and to go after that?
Well, to me, in life, in general in life, you know, I believe in core values. You know, I believe in values of, you know, the loyalty. I believe in accountability, because everybody's accountable. And to me, I think if you don't have these core values in life situate in your, you know, system, where if you haven't grown up with it, and to me, you have to have them to be able to have them, and then to move forward and to have a purpose. All of it comes together. And I think if you put it all together, things will fall in place for you. You work hard, you have your core values, you do the right things, it'll fall in place for you.
So yeah, some practical life, you know, skills that they need to implement or tips that they need to have.
I think we went over some of them. You know, start from a very young age thinking about your financial future, right? So making sure that you put things in place. I mean, I know in different countries it's a little bit different for savings, so there's more challenge, but there's always a room for saving something financially. And it just, maybe that means that going out that weekend for dinner and putting that money aside into an account. But starting from a very young age, so it won't be a challenge when you get older, I think provides that cushion that you need later on in life to help you go after things that you enjoy. So that goes to the second one, your passions. They might not always be financially solvent at the beginning, but who knows? You keep going after them, and you'll see that doors will eventually, you know, become open with time. And I think also having a positive attitude, and not letting things worry you to death, because I think worrying and fear knocks you out of focus of your divine, like, you know, purpose in life. So when you let that cloud your sphere, you don't clearly see the horizon that is supposed to be for you, because you're so focused on the now, you can't look into the future. So decimating the fear and its effects, and also stress in your life, and being able to clearly look at the window of success and opportunities for you, I think will allow you to have a better life.
And you need to not be afraid about putting yourself out there. The people who are successful on social media that I see are the ones that they go for it, you know, and you have to do some self-promotion, which is sometimes kind of awkward to go out there and say, watch my show, tell your friends, watch my show, I'm doing this. But you know, if you want to, you know, drive engagement, if you want to get hits, you kind of need to do that. And so
the reality is, to find you, the best place to go is to source, because when manufacturers make products, they complete them before they even make them.
Yes, they know the purpose of why they made it.
Exactly. So you need to find you. Yes. You have to find your manufacturer. Yes. The principles are very simple. Source. to find the purpose of a thing and to find your purpose, you must seek out your source.
Well, I tell people that, God is real and God is very much alive and present in the world today. And if it is that we accept and believe in him as the author and finisher of our faith, then he will cause all the promises that he has made to us to be realized, because there is one thing that is impossible for God to do, and that is to lie. And so if the scripture tells us that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, what it is telling me is that I need to rely on Christ for guidance, rely on Christ for support. And if I rely on Christ for guidance and support, then I can do all things. And that is why I have been able to overcome and succeed in the various things that I have accomplished to date. I have allowed Christ to be at the center of my life and to be the guiding force and the driver in the things that I do.
Well, first of all, it might sound cliche, but you have to understand that there is power within you and that wherever you are planted, you can bloom. Also, you have to understand that the naysayers will come, and sometimes there are many. And what can be tricky and a bit dangerous is when the naysaying is coming from people that you thought would have supported you, thought would have been giving you positive advice, a push in the right direction. Sometimes that can be family. It can be somebody that you saw as a mentor. It can be a co-worker. It can be a boss that you would think they would say, well, this is a young girl or a young man pushing forward. Let me support them. And then these are the ones pushing you down. I want you to understand that these things will come and prepare for them.
Well, the first thing I'd say to people, don't aim to become like me or anybody, aim to be better. Okay? That's my view, I mean, Baba and there's a song, again, I quote him, I need nothing to be a man because I was born a man and I deserve to live like any other man. You have to believe in yourself, believe in your own capability. Remember, in life, in general, you may have two sets of people. You have who are for you, believe in you, mother, your family, some of your loved ones. And you have some out with call who are not so much for you, they don't believe in you, they think you're no good. Okay? I've always said to students, when you succeed, you make your loved ones, the ones who are in your corner, happy, and your detractors sad. If you fail, you make your detractors happy, and those are in your corner sad. You need to decide who you're gonna make happy. It's not only about you, it's about all of those who believe in you, and all of us are people.
About 3 tips, your top 3 tips for success. You're a successful Jamaican in the diaspora, so it could be in the diaspora or just generally in life.
One is that you have to believe in yourself, because you see, success is relative. You look at somebody with all the fancy physical things, you may say they're successful, but not necessarily so. They may not have maximized. I still feel I have a lot way to go. So you have to believe in yourself. 2, you must be disciplined. And what I mean by that is you will find yourself in situations where you could do some things that you get careless, because once you slip off, you'll have a chance to get back on, but it will always be that little thing there that, and it's like being on radio. I host some radio programs, and I'm always very nervous when I go on radio, or even these situations. Well, this situation is different because you can always edit, but when you go on radio, it's live.
It's live, yeah.
You can't take it back. You have to be thinking what you're saying, because your word is your bond. And last but not least, be honest with yourself. Be able to look in the mirror and reconcile with what you have done and what your intentions are.
So like I said, the number one key for me is consistency.
Be consistent. So many people just start and stop and then they forget about it, or because they're not seeing early results, they forget about it. Oh, I only have 100 followers. Nobody's following me. You have to keep at it. Oh, I only have 500 subscribers. I'm not going to make any money. Keep at it.
This.
So
you have to be willing to lose sleep over your dreams, right? You have to say, all right, this is where I'm going and nothing is going to stop me. And when you have that mindset, you talked about how important mindset is. When you have that mindset, the sky is the limit for you. Get in the right mindset, get in the right frame of mind. Find something that you're passionate about and never quit. I mean, never quit. Go and read stories about people who have failed 1,000 times before they succeeded that once. Those stories will motivate you and inspire you to realize that you can never quit.
So trust the timing of your life is what I would say. Don't watch nobody, don't watch no face, as we say in Jamaica. Trust the timing of your life, your journey, because end of the day, if you're really focused on your mission, purpose, and making your impact, it must naturally come out to you. Don't get yourself be distracted. Live life, experience it fully, but understand that you're here to do something bigger than you are. And Les Brown says the most rich place in the world is the graveyard. There's so many dreams and ambitions and things that should have been achieved aren't. Don't die with your dream inside you.
Now, in the past, we've heard about 4-year degrees, 2-year programs and so on as the benchmark for knowledge acquisition after high school. That is no more, my friend. Google has announced that you don't have to have a college degree to be functional in the workplace. So has Apple. The point is, if these large companies are saying that you don't need any 4-year degree or so on to be functional, then what are we expected to have? Well, the focus is now on skills. Do you have the skill to do the specific job? And if the answer to that is yes, then you can get as big a job as that person with a degree or a master's degree or so on.
What are some critical steps that you think for anybody that wants to be successful in life they need to take?
For me, and I know it's not the same for everybody, but putting God first and making the time not just to speak to Him, but to listen. That's one thing. 2, making sure that you have the right people around you. They say birds of a feather flock together. So look at your flock. Look at your flock and analyze it and see if that's who you want to be, because that's who you are. And if it's not, then change the flock. Simple. Another one is, as cliche as it sounds, don't give up unless it's absolutely necessary or unhealthy. Just keep going.
You will make mistakes, but it's not the end of the world. It's about using those experiences to pull yourself up and to push yourself forward, and just hang in there. There will be days when you feel like giving up, but rest assured that once you have your vision, you should just always try to pursue it at whatever cost. Yes, there will be down days will feel like, yes, that's it, but always think about the bigger picture.
I think one thing is to get a mentor. So through My Jamaica or wherever you can, through family connections or whatever, find somebody who has done it before and really start engaging with them.
You have to have an overcoming spirit. You have to ask God to fill you with His Spirit and give you an overcoming spirit. That doesn't mean that persons who died don't have an overcoming spirit. But what God does is that He gives you the peace in order to deal with whatever situation. Because sometimes you wondered, when I was going through something, I wondered, would I be able to? Because some days you feel like, boy, this is it. I remember going and seeing staring death in the face a couple times and saying, no, not today. You will not take me today. And that time you don't even have the energy to even do the finger. But you keep going. You keep going.
Because motivation alone is not enough. It's about what you do after being motivated. So
we have to understand that Christ is King. It just is. He just is. Christ is King, and He has given us lots and lots of affirmations in the good book. Some of you know what I'm saying. He will never leave us or forsake us. You know what I mean? And we are conquerors and overcomers, and lean onto his understanding. Also, it's like, you know, always, you know, understand that you're here for a purpose. And the purpose here is to serve. And when you can sit down, meditate, take yourself away from yourself, and really get into why you are here, then you will begin to soar.
Around, what advice would you give them for those who are watching, those who have failed in finances, those who have failed in relationships, those who have failed in their careers, and they are looking now to, you know, to start again, to get back on track, to know that there is hope, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. What would you share with them?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, if you buy a share of stock or some shares of stock and you set your sight on the stock going up, the worst time to sell the stock is when it's down, okay? So if you think of success as the peak and failure as the trough at the bottom, many of us, we quit our endeavors when we think we fail. But if you look at stock that's successful, that goes from here to there, it never does it in a straight line over time. How does it do it? It does it like this, right? If the stock is healthy, it's going to do like this. Some of us are so chicken, so scared, that when we are in our jobs and our jobs are not working out well and we're at the bottom of the barrel, we quit when we are down. When we are pursuing our dreams, we should hang in there, we should believe in our dreams, we should see the outcome and never quit when we're down, because we're going to...
And any lasting advice or tips for success for our trailblazers, aspiring trailblazers?
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. It's not worth it if you're not enjoying yourself. Right? 3 years ago, I had a life-changing event that happened to me. And I remember, it's a bit of a near-death experience. And I remember being in hospital and saying to myself, boy, here I am, you know, working so hard and away from my family, and late nights, early mornings, traveling up and down on planes, meeting with people, whatever. And with all of the money that I'm trying to make, if I just dropped down dead, I couldn't carry it with me. I couldn't carry it with me. So then what's the point? It's almost not real. You can't own money, right? If you make a lot of it, you can put it to good use. You can help other people. You can buy material things. You can make life more comfortable for yourself and for your family and others. You can you can live stress with less stress because you might have better access to healthcare or, you know, whatever the case is. But it's not worth killing yourself while trying to earn money, because you can't take the money with you. You're gonna leave it right there and then life will move on. So enjoy yourself.
Hey everyone, I am Tamara McKayle, producer and host of the Trailblazers series. Remember to hit the notification bell right below, subscribe, like, comment, and share. And join the Trailblazers family for weekly inspirational episodes every Sunday.